Yeah, this is nice.
I do hear that little bit of static.
I don't think it's... I don't know, man. I don't know what that is. I can't really pinpoint it. But, good old episode 5. Gonna be in...
Are we starting?
Yeah, episode 5 gonna be an outdoor podcast. We're chilling by the river, as you can probably hear. That's not static or air conditioning. That is a rocky shoal behind us. It's hot as shit out here, too.
It's not that bad right here.
It's not terrible. It's definitely not terrible, but it's hot as fuck outside, dude. I'm sweating like crazy.
Honestly, it is hot, but...
See if you can get a little closer to your face.
Yeah, we don't have to start right now.
No, I mean, we can. I don't like, we're going. That breeze is nice. You know, this is the only time you'll ever see me in shorts.
Oh, me too. I'm a pants... I've started wearing pants almost exclusively.
Dude, I hate shorts. I hate shorts. Especially if I'm working. Yeah, because we're so soft right now because of the water, so make sure you're staying close. Yeah, you can swivel that whole thing. I hate, like, if you're working, I don't give a fuck what the temperature is outside. If you're a grown-ass man and you're working, put some fucking pants on. I'm sorry. I'm against shorts. I don't like shorts. Unless you're at the water, have pants on. Also,
I wear shorts sometimes out.
Also seeing...
It's like a casual thing. If it's in any way not casual, I won't wear shorts. Of course, like, that makes sense. But if it's casual and it's hot, then I'll wear shorts.
I'm always wearing pants. I hate shorts. I don't know why. I hate flip-flops, too.
Yeah, I used to wear them a lot, but now I've like...
Well, you wear the Chacos.
I've kind of phased those out for the most part. I like for when I'm in the water.
Just for the water, yeah.
Yeah, I like the Keens a lot because I'll do the Keens with like a little neoprene sock.
Yeah.
The kind that I have are backcountry skins. Those are pretty good.
Yeah.
Dude, and the Keens really protect your foot, but it still allows water to pass through. And then with the sock, you have another perfect layer to protect your foot. Like it's just a nice, comfortable, non-rubbing layer that's going to keep you from getting blisters.
I'll just go barefoot in the water and fuck my feet up.
Yeah,
Method.
I used to do that with the Chacos because the Chacos, like, you know, I didn't wear them down here, but like, you know, your toes are totally exposed. And like every time you slip and you hit your foot on a rock, it's like, dude, I'm gonna break my toes. I'm gonna break my fucking toes wading in this fucking river.
Just a second ago, I had some rough little spots.
But with the Keens, oh shit! I just poured water and dirt all over myself.
I think you missed the mic.
with the Keens, you got that fucking nice toe.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna like really break your toe as easy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you got to pay attention to that mic. I'm sorry. I hate to be on your ass about it, but
you're fine.
Otherwise, you're not going to be able to be heard.
Can you not hear me?
Not when you're over here. This makes a huge difference.
Really?
But I mean, you pour water on yourself, so I'll cut you some slack for that one.
Let me just okay, I'm sorry. Dude, yeah, this little area right here is totally changed.
It's so much different. That hole used to be a whole pool.
I saw it like months ago. And that was a whole big old hole onto itself.
Yeah. Back to the shorts. The only thing worse is sweatpants.
Sweatpants.
If you're a grown man at work, put some fucking pants on. Why are you wearing sweatpants? I hate seeing grown-ass men in sweat. I mean, be comfortable.
They're trying to show their dick off, bro, of course.
Be comfortable, whatever. But I'm saying, like, people our age
dude, yeah,
who are just so into the comfy... And you're wearing fucking... You work at a hardware store. Put some pants on. I'm sorry, man. I judge heavily.
Who do you see working in a hardware store has got some sweatpants on?
Kids.
Really?
22, 23-year-olds. They're all about the comfort. I'm like, put the pants on. I don't know. I can't work in sweatpants, man.
Dude, they make some really nice fabric pants that look nice, that are really comfortable.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
like the trail kind of pants, where they're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
they got the like the
Yeah.
same like back pocket that
There's some
like
good
a
options
jean
out there.
does. Yeah,
That's why you shouldn't be wearing sweatpants.
they definitely don't look as good as like a nice fitting pant, a nice fitting pant.
Dude, and like it's 95 degrees outside.
You're wearing
80%.
shorts right now,
I'm in the
dog.
water.
No, you're not.
I wore pants over these to get here.
That's true. I'll give you that.
I don't like shorts.
I'll give you that.
The only reason I'm wearing shorts is because I'm in and out of the water
Yeah.
and barefoot.
Dude, I'm looking at this big rocky outcrop over here. It's really awesome.
But also the thing is, I love being barefoot outside. I love walking barefoot outside. So I'm just a bigot and a hypocrite, and I apologize, but that's how I feel. We should have brought some water.
I have a gallon in my car. If you want to go get that real quick.
I do not.
I'll just do a monologue for 20 minutes or so.
We'll be good. I'm just going to get a little parched after an hour of speaking.
No. Just drink some river water, cousin.
Honestly, that shit right there, filtering through that moss probably ain't too bad. But then again, right up the river right there is a huge still spot that's probably not that safe to drink.
Dude, it's the same water.
That was my point.
It's the same water.
Because you see this and you're like, ooh, that's clean. And then you walk up there and you're like, that's disgusting.
You need to filter and boil that for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We are way too low in the watershed.
This might seem weird, but some of the best places you can find it. Imagine a spot like this in front of us in the sun that gets a lot of sunlight.
Really?
Because the sun kills bacteria.
Yeah, it'll kind of sterilize some shit.
It stifles, the growth of those organisms because it's just too intense for it to bear. But that would be the best spot. But then still, you'd probably want to filter and boil it.
Oh yeah, for sure, just to be safe.
Yeah, for sure.
If there's any wind interference, I'm sorry. I think we're in a pretty chill spot for wind. I don't hear anything. That breeze is hitting. I don't hear anything coming through.
Not bad. Heck yeah.
If it picks up, it's definitely gonna make a little noise.
This is a cool spot though.
This is so nice. I needed this. Get out here, get out in the nature a little bit.
This is kind of a little secrety spot too. I like.
Yeah,
that.
I don't know how many people. I've never seen cars parked here.
This is a little sneaky kind of spot, but people who live in
And it's
Union,
a solid like maybe 1/8 of a mile track.
something.
Maybe between 1/8 and 1/4.
It's about 10 miles in here.
Yeah, I carried all of this on my pack mule, and
I got a llama tied up over there.
Oh, for real though, that trek in, we better check for some ticks. It's gonna be. You never know. That tall grass.
Ticks are no bueno, cousin.
But it wasn't thick grass; it was scattered grass, so it's not. I mean, could have been worse.
Ticks kind of scare me.
I haven't had one in a while.
What are your biggest fears walking about in the woods of South Carolina?
Probably snakes.
Probably, dude. No, I'm more concerned, I think, with bees and ants. Those are my two.
You're allergic to ants, though.
I am, dude. But this is something I've been playing around with in my head, right? You are never, if it's just you, like imagine if you came up on a little fox, right?
Yeah.
And you scared the fox, and you just got it back against the wall somehow, some way that is just an anomaly. You can kill that fox with your hands if you need to.
It wouldn't be fun.
No, it would nick you up, but you would win, right?
Then how close are you to help?
If it's just you and an ant pile, you're never gonna win.
That's right.
You're never gonna win. Ever.
No.
And even with the bear, a lot of people get out of bear attacks. A lot of people.
Bears scare I've never seen one in person. As much as hiking and nature stuff as we've done, we definitely eventually need to invest in a nice little sidearm for these treks. It would not be a bad idea.
Little third dick.
Yeah. Little dude, it's so.
Little lead dick.
Oh man, I don't even know what I'd get.
I don't know.
But because you would you'd rather be safe than sorry. And the dude's crossbow. I'm rambling right now.
That was a sick crossbow.
You're not fighting a bear with that though.
Earlier today, we were at another river spot, and these two guys took their sweet time getting out of the water. Holy crap!
Yeah.
Yeah, they camped out of the boat ramp for a minute.
But I ain't even mad because we wouldn't have came here if they would have been out of our
for
hair.
sure. Yeah. That's good. I'm glad we moved spots for
Yeah,
sure.
we should have just came here in the first place.
Yeah.
Even though it's a little loud, it's so nice. I don't give a fuck.
What
If you
kind of?
don't-
I think this is a sycamore tree, bro.
Sycamore?
I think it is.
I'm not that well with plant identification.
I could be. Most likely am wrong, but I'm gonna say it's a sycamore.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, you were talking about it'd be nice to have some dynamic mics out here so that we're not picking up background noise.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was maybe thinking about transitioning to handheld mics anyway. They're the same price. You can get an.
I would get a little desk stand for it.
I like the idea of holding them, but then I also like just having a mic stand.
I like this. This is I like the
mic stand.
But I think this same thing except with a dynamic mic. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The same setup, just with a dynamic mic.
Yeah, like old Danny Brown does. Yeah, I think it's a SM57. It's just like $100, but it's like the industry standard for like just good all around mic. Look at a little caterpillar in the water. Poor fella got caught.
For those of you parents out there that watch Miss Rachel, I'm going to sing this for you. Caterpillar, caterpillar. How does it go? Fuck.
I haven't seen that one. Is that a good one? Is that a jam? You throw that one on at night?
Oh my God, dude. Jackson is mesmerized by that. I cannot even explain how hypnotized he gets by those songs.
Man, I'm telling you, like,
there's something about music. It's like music. It's like it hypnotizes him. He's like, what?
Music hypnotizes everybody.
Like, even I'll sing to him. Like, I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not like a performer. I'll just sing to him and I'll look at him and he's just like this. He's like,
he's out of it.
He's just watching me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sing to put him to sleep. That helps put him to sleep. So I can't even tell you how many times I've sung that little dude to sleep.
You got to harbor that inner musician. You got to feed that, man. Need to raise you a little guitar player.
That'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
Well, dude, he's gonna choose his own, to be honest.
Oh yeah, that's one thing I'm really excited about with kids is being able to expose them to everything. Like, I feel like I was pretty good at being exposed to a lot of things as a kid, but like, you know, with our parents being kind of southern and it's before the internet, they didn't have the exposure we have.
Heck no.
There's
and we
so
live
many
in
things we weren't introduced to.
We live in a small agricultural community town, not even a city. Union is more like a town. It might be considered a city now, but it's a town. And it's like you're talking about exposing kids to a lot of things. I've realized that moving to Columbia, you get exposed to so many more things in such an intense way because it's like the magnitude of the city is just tenfold. You know what I mean? At least.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's totally different.
Well, and you've got to draw for outside. Like, there's not many outsiders living in Union. Even when you get up to Spartanburg, you get a lot of foreigners. You get a lot of people coming in from other places. But with Union, we don't have that draw.
You know what made me love the outdoors? The only thing that made me love the outdoors was growing up in the house that I did. The houses that I did.
I was very fortunate to grow up surrounded by nature.
Me too.
Very fortunate. I wouldn't trade that for anything. And that's how I want to raise my kids. But even even things like skateboarding. Like, I mean, my parents would have never introduced me to skating or anything like that. I mean, my dad rode a BMX bike when he was a kid, and, you know, he showed me a few things, and he encouraged, you know, when we were kids and we'd have bikes, he'd hop on our little bikes and try and do his, like, little tricks. But I don't know. I feel that I
got a dirt bike when I was a kid, and the first day I got it was on Christmas Day. I rode it straight into a tree and broke the front fender. First day I got it, I literally ran it into a tree.
I look back on me and my brother,
and I was like, how on earth did they trust me to ride that fucking dirt bike?
Dude, that's what I'm saying.
Like, what the hell?
Like, I remember I must have been no older than 9 or 10. And me and my brother would be out unsupervised, driving like ATVs or like four-wheelers around. And it's like, dude,
I ran over my brother's arm one time with a bike.
I know kids that are that age now who their
What the
parents
fuck?
won't even let them play in the yard unsupervised.
Dude, when we take Jackson to gymnastics, it is shocking to me how some parents stifle their kids. Like just watching them literally hover their every step. And they're older than Jackson, these kids, right? Like Jackson's about
Helicopter parents.
he's about 20 months old now. Almost a year and a half-ish. And dude, there'll be some kids that are like 2.5 and their parents are still like literally on their shoulder. And I'm like, man, they're going to have to learn that the world doesn't revolve around them at some point, right? Like, because if you are constantly, I'll try to shower Jackson with as much attention as I can muster.
Right.
Okay. But at the same time, I know it is valuable for him to know how to self-engage his own mind and imagination, right? And he's got to do things on his own.
Right. Independence
He has
is
to.
really important.
And I'm so glad that I don't know whether that's just me. I hope that's not just me being lazy. I don't think it is, but I really don't think it is. I think that it's like,
I don't think so.
I'm proud of him.
It
makes me really proud of him because I've realized how capable he is, even at such a young age. I don't look at him as anything inferior to me at all.
Right.
Like-
I heard a great phrase that, oddly enough, I'd never heard before, but it's such a simple phrase, but the guy said, listen, we don't raise kids, we raise adults.
And I've met a lot of supposed adults that are extremely baby-like in their behavior.
Yeah.
Like with Jackson, like sometimes
You're drifting a little.
he'll throw a tantrum and hit you.
Yeah.
I know adults that do that.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
It's the same. It's the same thing.
Like
it's the same
think,
reaction.
Like I'm
not saying that that's wrong. I'm not saying that that's not warranted sometimes at all.
I
Of
know that I
course.
come off as very aggressive because when we're just shooting the shit, I like to overplay some of like shorts on guys, jogging pants. Well, I don't give a fuck. Do what you want to do.
Yeah.
But when we're shooting the shit, it's fun to kind of talk in hyperbole, exaggerate a little bit and get a little hyper aggressive and over. It's just fun. It's fun doing that.
We naturally take things to the extreme.
It's just, that's just how, it's fun to joke around and shoot the shit in that way. But like, I don't talking about kids and tantrums. I feel that I'm very patient in those times. Like I don't get angry.
Sometimes my patience is tested.
Like what I was saying with yesterday, and I won't get into it, but like we're sitting on the couch talking for hours. There's no aggression. We're just talking.
Of course.
Or like I've had friends, or not my friends, but friends of friends, who will have an argument with their significant other and wind up punching a hole in the wall. And I'm like, dude, you leave that person.
I did that when I was young.
I'm like, dude, I've never gotten to an argument with my loved one, with my significant other, where I got to the point where I was balling fists. It's never anger. It's more of like trying to understand, and like it's never been like aggression. I've never ever argued to the point where I was like clenching my fist and anger, like with a guy or with my brother. Like that's different. But I'm saying significantly, like with your significant other specifically. That I've never gotten to the point where I felt like I needed to punch something because of an argument.
I've 100% felt anger and frustration.
Exactly.
With a significant other, but at the
not
same
like
time,
aggression.
I won't even say that I've never had the desire to just like go on and slap somebody, but I didn't. Right? I felt that emotion 100%, but I didn't.
Right.
And yeah. That's something you got to learn, because right now Jackson's going through that very thing right now where he wants to slap you.
But like you got to be able to control your emotions.
Yeah.
And my point with that is like leave that person, is because if they're punching a hole in the wall when they get angry at you, it's only a matter of time.
Right.
It's only a matter of time before he's not hitting the wall anymore.
That's for sure.
That's what I'm saying.
Probably.
Because when he punches that wall, You know what he's imagining he's punching.
Sure.
So if you're getting that aggressive,
but what
it's going to go sideways one day, dude. It's going to go sideways one day.
Because you know what I'll do when I used to run a lot, man? When I was running for that like half marathon and shit?
What?
I would use things that made me feel angry to fuel my hunger to move forward.
Right.
And I don't necessarily think that that's a bad thing.
That's not a bad thing, but that's a very different scenario than when you're trying to get along with a loved one.
Sure.
Using that anger and aggression in a positive way can be very beneficial and very useful. But when that anger, when you're getting that aggressive and you're directing towards somebody you claim to love, like, I mean, if me and you got in an argument right now and we were screaming at each other and I turned around and punched a fucking tree, like, you know I wanted to punch you.
Sure.
That's my point.
Right.
If you and Hannah are fighting to the point where you punch a hole in the wall.
Yeah, I gotta say I've never been there. I've never been that far. No.
But my point is, if you're,
it's more like it's happened to me when I was younger and like alone.
If you have such a loose grasp on your own emotions, it's only a matter of time before you don't have the control to direct that towards a wall.
Sure.
Because that takes a thought, that takes a decision. And as soon as, if you're already the type of person who gets heated enough to start punching fucking walls, it's only a matter of time before that slip in your mind that allows you to direct that to a wall is overcome with the anger.
Damn. I
mean, that's just a huge red flag. If you're in a relationship and they're punching walls, fucking leave, because you're getting hit. You're getting hit. And that's the thing with domestic violence, is it might not be tomorrow, it might not be next year, but that's in them. If that's within you, it's going to come out.
I'm going to be honest, I have very little experience with this in my personal life.
I don't have experience with it either, but I just logically, if you have that little of a grasp on your control of your anger, then that's going to lead to some really bad situations. Especially in a young relationship where you don't even really know that much about your own self yet, and you're stressed out and you're cast into a bad relationship, or put on top of that and surprise pregnancy. Then you got all that stress and you're punching holes in walls when you got a baby on the way.
Who is doing this, dude?
I'm not calling him out.
What is making you think about this?
This is truth. This is a legitimate story. Luckily she left him.
Okay. So this is someone you know personally?
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. I was like, where's this coming from, man?
Yeah, somebody I know personally. But I mean...
Yeah, that's fucked, man. Of course.
She didn't leave after that. It took a few more things. And those few more things were just as strong red flags. And luckily, she listened to the people around her that were trying to help her. And she got away from it. But she still got a baby on the way.
Right.
It's terrifying.
Man. Yeah, dude, it's so terrible, and I would never do that. I would never allow myself to do that.
It's such a scary thing.
I've tried to embrace things that come from my own hand. You know what I mean? Like, you can't, like, that's on you, dude. That's on you.
100%.
That's on 100%. You. You got to take full responsibility.
Right.
That's no one else. Like, and this is a conversation, generational. Right? Like, we get this thing of, oh, it's not this person's fault. It's a generational issue, right? And I understand that, but
you have the power to make a change.
I know I'm not like my parents. I have a lot of the same values, but I'm not my parents, right? Like, I don't choose to make the same decisions they made.
Well, and ideally we learn from the good things and the bad things that they do. And we take it all into account, and we can see it for what it is. And hopefully. we can see the negatives of our parents and the shortcomings of how they go about life.
It's so hard though, man. It's so hard to...
And it's also hard, like, I'm not a father. It's hard for me to even see it from that perspective and put myself in those shoes as well, because I haven't been through the same life they've been through.
Right.
So that it's a really
everybody doesn't have a fair
finicky thing. We talk a lot about
so hard
family and fatherhood in this podcast.
My heart goes out to anyone. I want to say this because I've maybe been too my heart goes out to anyone that can experience true love from their children. I
Oh,
feel
man.
I feel so
Oh, man.
sorry because I've experienced true love with Jackson, and anybody who has the opportunity to experience that with their kid and they don't because they've been so hurt in the past, I really do truly feel so sorry for them.
That's a tragedy. That is truly tragic. I mean,
And-
kind of what I was saying last pod.
And then it kind of makes you feel like it can't be their fault because if they, I don't know. It's so hard to even.
It's hard. And if you don't have anyone,
Here's the hard thing about it is I'm sorry to keep interrupting you.
if you don't have anyone to tell you what, you need people in your life that can be brutally honest with you when you need to hear it.
Sure.
And a lot of those things come from surrounding yourself with the wrong people. That's a big thing. Even if you weren't raised in a particularly ideal way and it wasn't, completely positive growing up, it obviously becomes harder to surround yourself with the right people because typically growing up you surround yourself with people you can relate to.
Dude, you're assuming that people want to be around you. You're assuming that you even have that luxury of choosing who you want to be around. Man, there's plenty of people out there.
We all could have easily fallen into the wrong crowd.
Throughout
High school, I've had plenty of friends where I know if I would have stayed in touch with them, like me and you or me and Quinn or anybody stayed in touch, it would have been a lot worse for my own well-being, and you got to be able to see those things and end those relationships. Like I've had many friends who were on a bad path and I tried to, keep them around and try to show them that, hey, like, I love you. You're a great dude. You're a good friend, but you're making some mistakes here. You need to step. And a lot of times they'll either accept that and they'll listen to what you're saying, or sometimes they'll shut it down. And the ones that shut it down, you give them maybe another chance, but if they keep shutting it down, you gotta let them go.
And the thing is, ultimately, is you really can't control what someone else does.
Exactly.
And you can try to influence them in a certain way, but I mean, you can't dictate their actions. I don't know. It's so.
You just got to try to help, but if it gets to the point where you continuing to try to help this person is cutting into your own well-being, is when it's time to cut those ties. Because I've had a lot of friends where I've really tried to help. And, throughout high school mainly, that, I could see they were maybe hanging with the wrong crew a little too much. They were getting into maybe some drugs that they shouldn't, maybe a little too young in life. And, with band, like we had a lot of, when you're a senior in band, the kids are your mentors. Because in marching band, we're all outcasts. Most of us are outcast nerds, in marching band. So a lot of the 8th and 9th graders coming up when you're a senior see you as a role model and a mentor. So I've had a lot of experience with trying to help kids that I can see might not be in the best situation. And some of them take that and understand it, see what you're saying, and they take it to heart and they try to make a change. And some of them dismiss it, and some of them listen and hear what you're saying and aren't able to find the discipline to make that change. And those are the ones who have hope.
Yeah, honestly, you're better than I, because I didn't even have the foresight to even try to influence anybody. I was so, self-consumed and trying to think about and improve myself that I couldn't even. How could I imagine giving someone else advice? You know what I mean? Like, that's how I felt in like high school and college. I was like, what? I don't know what the fuck's going on. And that's how I feel sorry for people.
Yeah.
Because I truly know that when I'm 15, 16, 21, I have no clue. You don't have any clue.
Even now, like you were talking
exactly.
about,
think about how much my
25 to
perspective
35.
changed. Exactly. Like how much my perspective has changed since I was 21 is just so insane.
My perspective over the last 5 years has changed so much.
So I feel bad for people. Like I really do truly see how it's so easy to get swept up into
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I really do. But I've been playing around with this idea, this kind of funny idea. You were talking about band, right? Like that was kind of your, not sport, but that was your social and.
Well, people would argue with you on the sport thing, but I'm not one of those people.
Oh, marching band I would consider as a competition. It's a sport because it's a competition, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not the type of person who would die on that hill.
It's a competition that they score you on.
I completely agree.
It's a competition on a certain amount of rules.
It's funny that the sports guy's trying to change the marching man guy's mind on whether or not it's a sport.
I would just consider it by definition a sport.
Yes, by definition of
just like
sport,
chess
I do
is a
think
sport.
it is a sport. Chess is a
Hunting
sport.
is
But
a sport.
obviously you think sports, you think ball sports.
Not really. MMA, sport.
Right. Maybe I have a different perspective on that also because of extreme sports.
Kendama, sport.
Like BMX and skating is a sport, but it's not the sport in the traditional sense. And I think that's kind of where I have that disconnect between.
I think if you're physically competing under a certain set of rules under a point system in order to beat someone else, maybe the point system is a point that can be contested.
No, I agree with you.
But
But we got off on a tangent. What were you about to say?
The funny, did you play any other sports in high school?
Not on a team.
Right.
But I'd go golfing every now and then. I grew up playing tennis.
Right.
Played t-ball as a kid.
But in high school specifically?
No.
Right. I think in high school I just played soccer, football, and that's pretty much it in high school, soccer and football.
I'd be so down to get back into tennis. I've been telling you we need
tennis
to go hit the links.
I played golf in high school, but not competitively.
Yeah.
But I've been, this funny idea that I've been thinking about, and I'm just gonna, I don't even give a shit. Okay, whatever. I wasn't on the fucking team in high school. Okay, there were some people that were on the fucking team, right?
Bro, there were
and
people.
we all knew who was playing the fucking game. Okay, and I wasn't one of them. There were some people, that wanted to play. They watched all the film. You know what I mean? They were
studied up.
But they didn't make the team. They just didn't make the team.
I didn't make the team.
You know what
I wasn't
saying?
on the team.
But and then there's some people who just don't.
All throughout high school, I was just in long relationships.
Me too.
But I still wasn't on the team.
I wasn't on the team, cuz. But no, and then there's some people who don't even want to play the game at all. They're just not interested in the game of sex. You know what I mean?
See, I was raised Christian, and I was dating Christian girls, Christian hoes. So.
Same.
Not really on the team too much with those fellas, those ladies.
Thank God for college intramurals.
Oh man.
Anyway, that's the funny idea I've been playing
hilarious.
Around with in my head.
The fuck team. That'd be a good bit. If you work on that a little, that's a good bit.
Everybody knows who was playing. Everybody knows.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying?
I like that premise. Yeah.
Everybody
you
watched.
Run with that. That's a good one.
Anyway, sorry.
Dude, yeah, they watched. they were watching film. Studying up, they knew the rules. They just weren't able to play.
Oh my God!
Oh man,
some people tried to be team captains and water boys and shit. You know what I'm saying?
You might could throw in see, the thing is with the fucking game, with most sports in high school, you sign up and it's pretty hard to get cut.
Yeah.
The fucking game. You're getting picked like it's middle school pickup basketball, and you're lined up on the wall. Like, I'll take him, and bro, you aren't in control of if you're picked first or last on the fucking game, man. You are not in control.
I was a late bloomer. I will say that I was a late bloomer.
I was a relatively late bloomer.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd say I was average. I don't know what average is.
I don't know.
It's changing nowadays too. I think it's a little.
Yeah. Maybe I'm not right in that respect. I don't know. But yeah, I was. Oh my gosh, high school's funny. I don't even think about high school at all. It's so weird.
And then if you wanted, you could transition that into the college fucking team,
right?
And be like, basically, high school fucking team's JV.
I'm not gonna tell it right now, but my losing my virginity story is kind of funny.
Oh, mine's hilarious.
Mine's kind of fun. I can make mine kind of funny.
Mine is hilarious.
Mine's funny in a sad way.
God, I want to. Mine's just hilarious.
Oh my God. I don't know if you want to tell. I'm not telling mine right now.
I want to tell it, but I don't know that I want people to hear it yet.
I need to think that out a little bit more.
Oh my God.
That's so funny.
Holy shit.
But anyway, yeah.
I lost my virginity in a cemetery.
That's weird. That's fucking weird, cousin.
Bro, it's the high school fucking game. You got to find a spot.
So you were on the team in high school?
I mean, with one person.
That counts.
I wasn't playing the fucking game. I feel like that's way different.
That's different.
than
Okay, that's different.
I've been in a relationship with this
You're
person
true, you're
for
right.
a long time,
Straight
and we
up, straight up.
mutually were like, yeah, we should do this, and we both were comfortable enough to do it.
Straight up. That's different. It's
But-
different thing.
But man, I didn't smoke or I didn't have a sip of alcohol until I was 17.
Wow.
I never tried any drugs or
I feel
alcohol
like
until I was
that's
17.
pretty old, like, nowadays.
Yeah. I mean, I was
That's
the
pretty
last
average.
I was the
Probably
last
pretty
one
average.
of all my friends.
I would assume 16, 17.
I was the last one of all my friends. But that's kind of what I was saying, like how I kind of had the perspective to see 14 and 15-year-olds coming up smoking weed, hanging out with the wrong crowds,
Yeah.
you know? And that's where, from my perspective, I'm like, dude, I haven't even... And that sounds like I'm coming from, like, speaking down, being condescending, saying, like, I haven't done that, so you need to be better. But I don't know, with that perspective of me haven't tried anything like that, I would see these young kids who I knew that they had good hearts, and I could see them like if you're smoking weed at 14, you're hanging out with the wrong people.
I'm only giving advice if I love you.
You know?
Like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't have time for that shit.
All right, so how quick are you to drop friends when they've gone against you or done something for you to mistrust them? Because I'm like, you get one. You get one pass.
I'm trying to think of a friend who really, if I have a friend that really fucked me over.
Like,
Maybe I don't even know. Maybe I have been fucked over and I don't even know about it. But
like for
I
me,
feel like
even if you did something that I'm just like, dude, why would you do that?
Like, do you have a for instance that you can give?
I wish. I can't think of anything specific. Maybe even just like hearing about what people might be saying behind your back. And that's always, and your mic's a little rotated. That's always a little sketchy because then you don't know if people are just intentionally starting drama. You don't know if those people actually said something. But typically you have an idea if they're already not quite the most trustworthy person, and then you're getting word from other friends that they're saying nasty shit behind your back. I'm like, it's done. I don't try to hang on to anything like that. Or like, I don't know, if you try to trust somebody with a secret and that secret gets out. That's it, dude. You're not my friend anymore. Like, I have a very...
But honestly, I don't become friends with people who I think will do that, to be honest with you. I feel like
That's true.
I feel like I'm pretty good at, like, I'm not going to be friends with you if I
Especially
think you're
nowadays, but thinking about back to high school or even college, you know, there's a
sketchy.
lot of assholes.
You don't even know. You're
There's
just
a lot of assholes.
You're just in the ocean
But
at that point.
I think I would describe it that I am very quick. Like, you can gain my trust very quickly, but as soon as you do anything to waver that, it's done. We're done. No more friendship. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if I met a new person and you seem cool, having some good conversations, you can gain a relative amount of trust from me very quickly.
for the most part.
But as soon as you do one thing for me to second guess that, I don't even want to talk to you anymore.
Unless you're
want you in my
obviously a
life.
crackhead or a meth head, I'm usually pretty trusting. I mean, unless you're just acting absurd. You know what I mean? But
then
dude,
again,
sometimes I see people in Columbia at gas stations, and I'm like, I don't know whether I can trust you right now.
I
Like,
think-
just even like being this close to you, I feel kind of sketched out.
We're
'Cause
both
you seem like a flight risk. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what's gonna happen here.
we're both very comfortable people.
I would
And,
say that I'm pretty comfortable.
So
yeah.
I think we're not the type of people who have anything to hide.
I try not to.
And I imagine that
I try not to.
the people who are the most untrustworthy probably have things that they want to hide. Because usually, if you're comfortable in your own skin and you know where you are in life, you're not gonna be. You're trusting. You don't, because you're not worried. I have nothing to hide. I'm not cheating on my girlfriend. I don't care if I can open up to you and not have any worries about what I've said to you getting out and coming back and biting me in the ass.
Right.
Because
so
we're very honest and
that's
true
what you
people.
mean about trust.
Yes. So
Yeah,
I
of
think
course.
people who have more to hide are subconsciously less trustworthy because I don't know, maybe
You lost me. I'm lost.
I don't know. perhaps people who maybe they're stepping out on their wife. Maybe they're...
Dude, this podcast has been serious.
Maybe they're... Well, it's also just kind of like, it's not super serious. Like, we're I don't... Yeah.
It's kind of serious.
But...
I'm starting to get warm
But I'm saying
now,
those
sure.
people, yeah, the sun's starting to dip out a little. But those people who are doing things behind the backs of their loved ones.
That's...
Those people are typically more selfish people anyway, wouldn't you say?
Okay, I see.
In general. And therefore, the more selfish you are, the more self-centered you will be with your actions, and therefore, most likely, the less trustworthy you will be with the secrets.
You get more than one with me. Usually you get more than one with me, I will say. I'm not
I'll give you one.
I usually get more than one with me.
But I'm saying I'll give you one, and then depending on our relationship up until that point, that one is like, okay, I'm not dropping you after that one. That's what I mean. Like you get a freebie. If we've had a close enough relationship where I'm like, I understand that may have been an honest mistake, then yes, but as soon as it happens again, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. That's
it's a great rule.
It's exactly it. You know, the one time I'm like, all right, well, now that I know that that's within you and you have that potential to fuck me over and stab me in the back, you're out of my life.
Dude, I've been thinking
lighten it up a little.
No, I've been thinking about the Big Bang or whatever.
Oh yeah, back to space. I hate to have a space discussion without Quinn present.
I know it sucks.
It sucks
because I want to be enlightened is the main issue.
Dude, Quinn would be so good on a space discussion.
I know. We gotta do that at some point.
I mean, if Quinn would basically be like our in-house Neil deGrasse Tyson. But
absolutely
thinking about the Big Bang.
No, I mean, because this guy, I can't remember the guy's name. I'm sorry.
I know it was 2008.
Yeah,
number 2008.
JRE. Yeah, 2008. But anyway, he was talking about how it's similar that
cicadas.
I know you can hear him. He was talking about though how it's similar that the Bible has a worldview that the universe came into existence after God created it.
Yeah.
Right? And the Big Bang also has the same sort of thing where it's like all of the universe is created from a singularity, a point of infinite compression of heat, matter, and energy, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's necessarily everything from something, because if it's a singularity, right, it's a point of infinite density, which would mean it would be
everything from everything,
right?
Everything from.
So everything. maybe I'm misunderstanding his argument, but he was saying that it's interesting that the kind of conclusion is the universe hasn't been eternally present, right? Like at one point, our universe as we know it did not exist, right? Like there was a point at which it was created and started to expand. And that's a finite amount of time. It's not infinite, right? That's kind of what modern physics tells us, right?
Well,
but
I think that may
be confirmation bias, very highly possibly. I don't know.
I was going to say that, yes, could certainly be confirmation bias. That could also be a misunderstanding of the term infinity.
Right, because if it's a singularity, it's there. It's infinite, right? Right there.
And there's also the theory of the bounce back. What is that theory called? Where we're in a constant cycle of expanding and collapsing and expanding and collapsing.
Possibly.
But then that's kind of...
We don't know. We don't really know.
Well, that's kind of...
We have no fucking clue.
What's confusing about that theory is the fact that...
I have no fucking clue also.
What's confusing about that theory is the fact that we have evidence to show the universe is expanding faster and faster and faster, which kind of goes against the collapse, the bounce back theory.
Wait, say that again?
The universe, as we know it, is expanding at a faster and faster rate. The expansion of the universe is speeding up. It's not slowing down, which I guess could technically mean we're just in the beginning of the bounce. But
I don't know.
You would assume at the end of the bounce, as things get to the widest point,
Do we really know that?
We know that every object in the universe is getting farther away from every other object in the universe
Because
at
of
a faster
because
and
of
faster rate.
redshift. Because of redshift, right?
You're saying that's how we measure that?
Yeah.
That's part of it.
I'm not even going to try to explain it. If you don't know what redshift is, look it up.
I know what redshift is. I think I can explain it. I'll give it a crack.
It's basically wavelengths becoming...
Light is getting stretched. Wavelength is getting stretched because things are moving apart. Right. So think about sound waves.
The Doppler effect.
When an ambulance is coming towards you, the pitch is higher. As the ambulance passes you, the pitch gets lower because that frequency when coming at you is being compressed. Right. That frequency when leaving you is being stretched out.
It's the same thing if you walk by like a stationary table fan.
Yeah.
It's like you move your head on the back side versus the front side. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So therefore, when objects are moving away from us, they're redshifted, meaning the wavelength of visible light, or not necessarily visible light, that we see is stretched to a longer wavelength. Because a tighter wavelength is like ultraviolet. Infrared is longer.
And another point that guy was making, I'm sorry, I can't remember his name, and he is way smarter than me and way more studied than me. He has a PhD in what he's talking about, and I'm just putting my own perspective on it, and I just think it's really interesting. He had the perspective that because the universe is so finely tuned in terms of the laws of physics, right, that it had to be intelligently designed. That's one of his big conclusions, okay? And for me, I say to that, if it wasn't perfect, we wouldn't exist, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? There could be 1,000 iterations of this that have happened before, but none of them took because it wasn't perfect. But this one took.
It could totally just be a roll of the dice. Yeah. It could totally just be a roll of the dice.
We wouldn't be here if it wasn't perfect. So, like, that isn't, like, I don't.
Yeah, I agree with that. And who's to say?
Who's
to say?
I don't follow that direct logic.
Who's to say if the laws of physics are the same throughout all universes? How do we not know that, like, from his perspective, it seems that he is saying that the laws of physics are universally fixed. And the universe, once the Big Bang happened, had to abide by the laws of physics. But how do we know that the laws of physics didn't fall into place because of the Big Bang and the interaction between the particles? Well, that chicken and the egg. What came first?
Right.
The laws of physics, or the particles, the hydrogen and the helium.
His point was that the people.
God, Quinn would be able to contribute to this so much.
His perspective was that biologists and biochemists couldn't directly explain how chemicals could form life. That was another big argument that he had. He's like, we have a really hard time understanding how we went from probiotic chemical soup to highly organized processing life units, right? Like we are in information processing life unit. Like we're constantly processing the information that is our DNA with highly effective information processors that can build things, right? Your proteins. And it's like he had the assertion that because we really couldn't explain that.
But we didn't start from that. We evolved to this point.
He really thought that he compared it to an engineered system. Like think of like a bridge.
That's
right?
like saying
a bridge works great because it's built by a intelligent designer. That was his point.
But that's like saying the very beginnings of life, the first single-celled organisms were that complex, and it wasn't that.
Right. As a person who studied biochemistry, and I don't think he studies biochemistry, I will say that I attribute it to basic thermodynamic processes.
Exactly.
And that's my perspective. And I'm not saying that it wasn't planned out beforehand, but I'm really thinking that natural thermodynamic fundamental laws dictate the folding and unfolding and building and reading of proteins. It happens in an electrochemical way that is really hard for us to understand, and I get that, but I don't necessarily think that was designed. Maybe it was. Maybe it's a simulation, and all those inputs were just bam. Hydrogen equals one. You know what I mean? One mass unit and one electrical unit. You know what I mean? Like it's like what the.
Hopefully,
Because it is kind of
we will
simple enough
see-
fundamentally for it to have been designed.
Hopefully,
You know what I mean?
we will see a vast evolution in quantum computing within our lifetime, and we will be able to have at least some of these answers.
Well-
but the problem is, regardless of how deep we get into our understandings of this universe, we will never, ever be able to answer that question. And that's why this is
Do you think we get the answer when we die?
no.
I hope we do.
I don't know. So
Or do you think maybe like because we're never God, we never fully understand it, but we're just a part of the eternal hum of God?
I don't know, but okay. Here's a fun little thought experiment that Quinn brought up to me, which I'm gonna butcher it and I'm gonna kind of put it in my own words. And I don't remember his name either. It was some philosopher, Alan something. It was a thought experiment about heaven. And, like we experience happiness and sadness on earth through relativity, through ups and downs. You can't have happy without sad.
Sure.
So when you're in heaven,
I would tend to agree with that.
so when you're in heaven, there is no bad.
Sure.
It's all happy all the time.
Maybe.
So eventually, all happy all the time will become all neutral all the time. And there will be no emotion. There will be no happy and sad.
It's just hum. It's just.
And then, Jesus.
Sorry.
And then if you are still a conscious being within that realm and everything is to the point of neutrality and nothing is exciting, there's no happy and no sad, you would begin to crave the ups and downs of life.
Maybe.
Therefore,
No, you wouldn't.
yes, you would.
Nah.
Dude,
Who gives a fuck?
no, I don't think you're truly
But if you're
I don't think you're truly thinking if you had all
if
happy
you
all the
become
time.
if you become a part of the eternal hum, man, you don't have the perspective to want to choose. You're missing. I don't think that's the
speculation.
blackness. Yeah, it is. Just like you are.
Well, yes, I'm speculating from a Christian heaven.
Right.
But then once everything becomes neutral, you begin to crave the wild turmoil that is life, because this is fun and this is excitement.
To me, what I think heaven is.
Hold on,
Oh, sorry.
to finish the thought experiment.
No, okay.
Therefore, this life is heaven.
No, I would disagree with that. But
Well, I'm not saying I agree with it, but I'm saying it's a great thought experiment.
I've
It's
heard-
a wonderful thing to think about and
Yeah,
consider, and it
it's-
helps give it helps give one a very a more healthy perspective on this life.
yeah, it can.
Well, if you actually take it in and listen and try to contemplate and try to understand what that might mean and apply that to your life.
Right. Yeah.
It's a good thing to consider, and it's a good thing to shine a light.
I definitely
on.
heard that when I was young. I was younger.
It's a good thing to shine a light on how good we do have it and how much we take things for granted so often.
When I think of when I die, and if you like, let's propose that there is a heaven, I'm gonna think that I become a heightened being, and that I have a greater understanding of the entire fundamental universe. Hopefully,
Maybe.
and I'm able to tap into and understand and perceive emotions of all kinds on a much higher level.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily good or bad. It just is. It is what makes things. I don't know. I think that'll continue. I really do. I think if the afterlife continues, because if you say you go to heaven, and they always say, they're looking down on you. So obviously that they see something terrible happen to you, right? This person in heaven, they're going to feel sadness, right? Like, of course they are.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Especially if you go to hell, like they're proposed there, is a thing.
That's a really good point.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand how. Like, I think that you're just going to have a greater, if there is a such thing as an afterlife, I think you'll just be experiencing emotions on a much more intense, elevated, enlightened level.
I 99% believe that there is no afterlife.
I have no clue.
I mean, I obviously have absolutely no idea, but my current belief system leads me to believe that you just shut off.
I have no faith in either idea, and somehow they coexist in my mind as both true. Like I think of them as both true
That's
dually.
a very interesting
brain.
way to say that.
I don't know. It's just the way that I've come to think about it.
I mean, I'm not
Because I can't discount either one.
right.
They kind of both are you know.
I'm not convinced.
They're kind of both
to
are
one
true
or the
and
other,
untrue, yeah.
But I certainly believe that it just shuts off.
It's like the Schrodinger's cat experiment. You know what I mean? It's like, is the cat dead or alive? Who fucking knows?
Or like,
like who fucking knows?
what if we were reincarnated into future consciousnesses, but we have no memory of our past life? In which case, it might as well just shut off.
This is my humble opinion, but I'm gonna say that we are a part of a lineage of consciousness that is far older than we can imagine and will extend far into the future. And because it seems so infinite, because there's so many people on this earth, right, that have poured in to what it means to be a human and have a human experience. Think of how many humans have contributed to the overall consciousness of you or me, right?
Yeah.
I don't necessarily. I think we create. I think it comes from us. I think the argument is, to me, the awareness ultimately comes from the individual, and the individual builds. It gradually builds to the universal consciousness. And I don't think that necessarily we're tapping into something. I think we're building something, and I think we're going somewhere. Does that make more sense?
That makes sense.
I think that the consciousness is not
it's a collective,
eternally present. I think we're slowly building the eternal conscious that we think of.
And maybe then even to call it an eternal conscious is wrong.
Did that make sense at all?
It did, because you're saying, I'll see if I can paraphrase. You're essentially saying consciousness is not necessarily something that we tap into.
First of all,
but
I'm assuming that consciousness comes from the individual
right.
and not from an external source.
Right.
Because that is what we currently understand. We currently think of consciousness coming from only
the base level.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
Of the base level of consciousness is simply awareness of your surroundings.
Exactly. It precisely that.
The next level of consciousness is awareness of yourself. And I believe the next level of consciousness is I think, therefore I am, pretty much. And that's a very basic way to put it. But I believe what you're trying to say is we wouldn't experience the same consciousness if we didn't have the community to expose us to certain ideas.
We've slowly built human consciousness and not had consciousness thrust upon us. That's what I think.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what I personally think.
And consciousness is historical. We learn through history. And we learn about our own consciousness through history and through the actions of past people.
Yes.
And all of that information comes together to create a collective identity of the human race, which is what we kind of call consciousness.
Right. I don't know what that to be true. Of course I don't. But that's kind of how I think of it currently. And I've been really working on that in my head, and it's still really fluid. So,
it's always going to be.
Yeah.
It's always going to be.
Maybe not. I mean, some people have a really strong faith, man. Some people really do. Some people have a really strong faith.
But then that's back to faith, which I don't believe in. I don't think faith is the right way to go about life.
Dude, you have faith in scientific principles.
I have faith in the scientific method because the scientific method is inherently questioning of itself. There is no. Now we're back to episode 1 of I'm talking about the scientific method. You're talking about people using the scientific method.
Distinction.
That's a huge distinction. That is a huge distinction.
It's because humans are imperfect and we can't do it right.
The scientific method is designed to have a hypothesis, experiment, conclusion, and we don't call anything a legitimate theory until that is repeatable.
I'm going to criticize the scientific method, and I think this is a fair criticism, and whatever. I think when you isolate variables, you tend to miss the bigger picture, and that's how science is fundamentally done, is isolating variables. And I
think that's a really simple way to say that.
I don't know. I mean, it's fundamental.
But typically we're isolating variables in order to see how they affect the bigger picture.
Sure.
So I think that's a very simplistic way to look at that. But yeah, scientists people are flawed. That's the biggest thing. the method in and of itself is not flawed. There's obviously some shortcomings potentially.
People do great science, don't get me wrong.
But
like,
it is,
of course they do.
It's the selfish asshole human who is perverting that method.
That's money driving science.
In order to create a narrative that they want to push. It's a true science. And I hate because the word science has been so corrupted over the past couple years. You know, people like, there's the whole like science is real movement. It's like, no, it's fucking nothing is real and nothing is fake. Everything is everything. I don't know. Like, but I think faith is a flawed system, because kind of what we were saying is, I think you can have faith, but you still need to be able to step back and admit that you have that faith. Faith means you do not know.
I think faith is beneficial.
But
I'm not saying in any particular thing.
Okay, blind faith. I think that's where I have a flaw. If you can be honest and truthful with yourself about what you may have faith in, and be able to admit that maybe it's not true, but you still believe that because you have faith in it, and that's where your mind is, that's beautiful, that's fine. But it's blind faith that I think is, you got to step back and evaluate what you have faith in. Blind faith is inherently flawed, I believe.
What do I really have faith in? I'm going to think. I really have faith in the fact that I don't want to hurt people I love. That's what I have faith in that.
That is kind of where I was going to go, where I have faith.
I have faith that I'm going to try to never deliberately hurt them.
I have faith in the people around me. I have faith that things will work out. I have faith that my family will do everything they can in order to better themselves and the people surrounding them. I have faith in the goodwill of my loved ones.
Exactly, but I don't have faith in outcome. That's where I think I get stuck. I don't have faith in outcome. Like I have faith that things happen for the greater good and naturally the way they're supposed to, but I don't inherently think they're good or bad. I don't have faith in a particular outcome. Like, does that make sense? Because there doesn't seem to be any fairness to outcome. There's not a quality of outcome. There's not a quality of opportunity even. There's not, does that make sense? And I don't think it'll ever be really truly possible. So inherently, I don't really have faith in outcome. I have faith that things happen in a natural, progressive way.
Yeah, I think that's kind of,
you know what I mean?
Maybe I kind of misspoke when I said I have faith that things are going to work out. But I have, like, say, I might be talking to my grandma. Maybe I'm going through a hard time. And my grandma is like, just pray. The Lord will make everything work out. You just got to have faith.
That's what you have. You have faith in that love. That you have faith in love. That's what I have faith in. I have faith in love, and I have that faith for a lot of, okay. Sorry.
I have, but I think my point is when she says, pray and everything will work out, God watches over us. God will make everything be okay in the end. I don't have faith in that way whatsoever. My faith is in myself. I have faith in myself that hopefully I'm going to make the right decisions and get through the hardship that I'm going through.
You can control your environment, hopefully.
If anybody, I have faith.
If anybody has a chance to control their own environment, it's you, motherfucker.
So, I think I have faith in the ability of my loved ones.
And yourself.
That's the biggest thing.
And yourself.
I think that's really one of the only things I could say that I have faith in.
Man, I'm hot as fuck. I'm ready to cool off a little bit. Is that cool? Can we wrap this up?
Yeah. I mean, that probably puts us at an hour.
For sure.
Hopefully there's some clippable moments in this one, because this would be a damn nice thing to throw on Instagram with how good this fucking video looks.
Of course there will be.
I haven't even looked through the 4-man pod. I don't know if I'm going to edit any of that.
Do it. That'd probably be some fun
stuff. I edited the video, but I don't know.
I'll listen to it, and I'll send you any moments that I think are funny.
Oh, there's a few that would be good, but I just don't know. With the sound quality issues as well, how clipping it will, if everybody's voice will be clear through TikTok and YouTube and shit. But this was awesome. We need to get outside more often. I'd love to do this at the beach.
Hell no, I gotta have a fucking umbrella.
Well, that's what I mean, not out in the sun. I mean chilling at the beach under an umbrella.
We need to get a tent and a table and some chairs. Yeah, that'd be lit.
Yeah, and some dynamic microphones.
All right, more to come. Keep it real.
I'm going to leave you guys with a few minutes of tranquil water and probably some talk in the background from me and Blake.
All right, love you, man. Bye.
Oh,
That was fun.
that was a good one.
There's some stuff in there.
That was big. That was good. But that wasn't. I don't think any of that was controversial. It wasn't too serious. I mean, we had a shorts and flip-flop discussion.
Right.